What's good? It's your boy CJ Goodfellow. We back with that real boxing thing with the Boxing Clinic. You dig? It's afternoon grind, of course, man. Shout out to the LDBC, YTBC, and everybody that's, pushing this boxing ish. And apparently Terence Bud Crawford, Top Rank. Let's start off here. Top Rank said Terence Bud Crawford has never turned down an opponent that they brought to him. He always wants to fight the best guy. Never turned down an opponent. And now, it's questions coming out whether he's ducking now, or seems like to be ducking because we know they, Ndongo had to make a deal with Sergey Lipinets, with the IBF that, after this fight, whoever holds the IBF title must, fight Sergey Lipinets. Now, Sergey Lipinets' manager said a while ago that he was, damn near 100% sure that the winner, and, they thought it was going to be Terence Crawford, was going to drop that belt and not face Sergey Lipinets. Like, motherfuckers scared of Sergey Lipinets. Now it's questions about that. Will Crawford, stay, hold the IBF title and fight Sergey Lipinets? And I'm going to get into that in a minute. One, if Crawford does choose to stay to 140, he says, and I'll leave the article link in the description, that, he has no problem making 140. He make 140 easy. He said it's not an issue. He said if that's the case, if he wants to, if his handlers and manager, matchmaker, and everybody involved with Top Rank, that matchmaker wants him to stay at 140, he said, the weight isn't an issue. He's very comfortable making 140. He said that ain't the issue. It's the issue is what his handlers want to do with him, And another thing before I get into the Lipinets thing, it's going to depend on what belt he want to hold. Honestly, is fighting is the morning weigh-in with the IBF that important to Terence Crawford to keep doing it? And we know he's the guy that rehydrates into the 150s, and you got to be 150 pounds or below with the morning weigh-in after the regular weigh-in with Julius Ndongo and potentially Sergey Lipinets. So, if that's something, and, he's not going to hold all these belts after these fights. He's going to disperse these belts because what's the point? He held them all, and they took over at least $100,000 from him in this bout, whoever wins between him and Julius Ndongo. So each sanctioning belt body altogether in this fight got over, 6 figures from both of these guys. And he's going to disperse some of these belts. So I would assume that Top Rank loves that WBO belt, and he's going to keep probably that WBC belt and the WBA and the IBO belt that Ndongo had has already been vacated like 2 Mondays ago. Who gives a fuck? And, the IBF is going to be dispersed. Then it's still going to be some people, those Euro fans that love those European fighters, for some reason, going to say Terence Crawford ducked Sergey Lipinets for dropping that belt. But, it is his prerogative. I don't think he's ducking Sergey Lipinets, however you want to look at it. I think Julius Ndongo is a better fighter than Sergey Lipinets. And I haven't studied Lipinets that much, but I've seen him fight a couple times. And, he's a solid fighter. He's a dangerous foe in this weight class. But I don't see him giving, Terence Crawford any problems. And if Ndongo wins, if he doesn't, take too much damage in this fight, or if he wins potentially, I don't see him giving, I see him, Ndongo and him be a good fight, but I think Ndongo is the more skilled boxer. Lipinets is not an upright European fighter. He kind of fights behind his shoulder, but he's nothing special. It's nothing, nothing that's, no razzle-dazzle to me. He does some things different from some European fighters. He's not your conventional robotic European fighter, but he's still young in his career, though. He still can add on and do some things. He's a good puncher, but by any means necessary, by any means, he's not a special fighter to me right now, especially with 12 or 13 pro fights. Terence Crawford beat the dog walking shit out of him, and I think Ndongo will beat the dog walking shit out of him, what I've seen on film. But if Ndongo gets damaged goods versus Terence Crawford, then, that's an even fight, but it won't happen because Ndongo, unless Ndongo, gets beat down or is competitive and the IBF just wants him to be number 2, then I understand that. But, also, he was asked about Mikey Garcia. And he said we actually fought in the amateurs and I beat him. And he said, he don't think it's gonna happen because of the promotional differences. So at least he knows, dealing with Bob Arum, he knows what he's getting into, or he knows right now that he's not going to be allowed to fight those PBC fighters, especially a former Top Rank guy. They're not gonna let him fight him. He knows that. They're not about to give Mikey Garcia any chance. A guy that they believed in very much and put a lot of time and money into. Let him come back and beat Terence Crawford and steal one of their aces. Because people don't know, Top Rank doesn't have many aces in the in the hold no more. That's why they going to Europe, because, you know, other promoters like PBC or managers like Al Heyman is signing all the American talent up. So, you know, Bob Arum got to go abroad to find some talent. And he's in no rush to put his ace in there with Mikey Garcia in a real 50-50 fight, in my opinion. Terence Crawford knows that, even though Terence Crawford feels he'll beat the shit out of Garcia again, and he beat the shit out of him in sparring like 15 or 12 straight rounds, Mikey Garcia said. But Mikey Garcia and his team feel like they made the adjustment. Sparring and amateurs are two different things. But he was non-committal to that. Said, you know, probably won't happen because of promotional differences. And, you know, I think Crawford is going to, you know, if he wins this fight, I think he's going to move up to 147 and fight for that WBO belt Jeff Horn holds. Or if Pacquiao wins, he's going to retire and vacate it. So it's basically Crawford's 147 WBO belt.